everything you need to start your morning. This is Good Day Tampa Bay.
And welcome back, everybody, on this Saturday morning. Proving who committed a crime has been the cornerstone of our criminal justice system for hundreds of years. But what happens when an innocent person is convicted of a crime he or she did not commit, when the only evidence is eyewitness testimony? In July, over the summer, New Jersey became the first state to enact strict new guidelines for introducing eyewitness testimony at trial. And the Florida Supreme Court is now considering some very similar changes. Here to explain it now is our legal roundtable, or actually, I guess it's our couch table.
Our round couch.
Felix Vega and Kim SEACE. SEACE. Thank you very much for correcting me. Let's start now with you, Felix. Let's talk about what are these changes. We know eyewitness testimony can be very compelling for a jury. We also know that it can be unreliable. What changes did they consider in New Jersey that now has our court looking at?
And New Jersey really led the way with changing two fronts. One, not only in the police procedures, but also in jury trials as well. And what the old system used to be is, for example, you would have a photo six-pack, as we called them, or a photo lineup. And yes, Doug, we did include you in this one. So
it's easy to identify the best looking. But
right, there you go. Out of the six. But for example,
that would be Chris Gamora.
If someone came to me as a detective and said, I know one of the Fox 13 guys was the one that committed the crime, I would go in, pull up 6 photographs, and put this photo pack together and show it to the eyewitness. Some of the things that they had to consider were also the size of the photograph, and as you can see here, the different backgrounds, and anything that would draw attention to one particular photograph, in this case, Alcides' photograph. The background's a little different from the other 5. So now what they've done is they switched to a different system where we use, and to be fair, we use the ladies as well, Fox 13, and you go to a one-by-one system where you show each photograph one at a time to the victim or the eyewitness. And also you notice that in there they've also changed to more of a grayscale or black and white photo that they use to slam out any color issues or anything that might be distracting to the person looking.
You mean because the contrast might be different in a black and white photo? I mean, it would be more similar than a color photo, which might have wider contrast.
A lot of times with the color photographs, you saw differences that may be distracting to the individual, and they're not paying attention to the face in the photograph as much as other things that may distract them.
And so what are some of the new factors that the jurors then would consider? This is about witness identification.
Right.
What about when the case goes to trial and a jury has to consider this information?
And when the Supreme Court, what they're trying to decide now is a list of 9 factors that they've included inside these jury instructions, and some of them deal with things like the length of time between when the crime occurred and the identification, lighting, distance from how they identified the person, also whether it was inconsistent identifications that were done before or after or in between, and also most importantly, how was the suspect identified? Was it done while they were fleeing from a convenience store during a robbery, or was it done, for example, when they catch the suspect and then bring him back to the police car and show them to the individual? So all those factors come into play. In New Jersey, what they did, they actually have 25 pages of jury instructions that they've drafted that are now in law that are going to be given to the jurors depending on the situation.
Let's bring Kim into the discussion. Now, you've been on both sides, is that correct?
Yeah, I prosecuted for 16 years. I've defended for 4.
And do you think these sorts of changes are long overdue?
I think they are. I think it's a step in the right direction. The more information that a juror has in making that critical decision on whether or not somebody is guilty or not, the better the system is going to be.
And is it working thus far in New Jersey? I mean, what do the numbers reveal?
I think it's so new, it's too early to tell what impact it's going to have. But all of the research and studies show that most people, 75% of the people who are wrongfully convicted in this country, it's because of eyewitness misidentification. So it's an area that definitely needs to be addressed.
You know, we talk about the weaknesses in DNA, but again, the eyewitness testimony so compelling with a jury, but so often your eyes can deceive you. You see something quickly, you think you know what you saw. Over time, you keep repeating that, And if it's wrong, you're right. It seems what leads to a wrongful arrest and a wrongful conviction.
And one of the things in New Jersey they're also looking at, that they're considering, is the duration of the crime and also the stress levels that people are put under when they are confronted in a crime situation, whether they're the victim or an eyewitness. So those are other factors that are coming into play as well. For the jury, though, this kind of takes it out of the judge's hands and puts it in the jury's hands in terms of the witness identification as well. So it kind of adds another layer of proof to the case, which is difficult for the prosecutors, but a safeguard for the defense.
Well, I'm sure this will be an ongoing discussion, and I appreciate you both coming in this morning to join us for this interesting discussion, and we'll see what happens up in Tallahassee with our Supreme Court as it makes its way to this state. And we'll be back with more Good Day right after a break.